Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be auto-constraining and deleting that constraint between our last selected objects as well as a massive selection. But before that, I want to make a name text field and a grouping option for our control buttons. So when we click our button, let's select this. When we click this button and it makes the controller that we're going to be making, I want to give it an option to have a name, to be able to group it, and if we have something selected already and we click this button, I want to constrain it to that and then delete the constraint, as well as have the pivot origin centered to our object. So let's begin. Before we create the command for this button, the first thing I want to do is go into a window right here and open our outliner to see if the grouping options work. So we're just going to have this open to see what's in our scene. And in our script, the first thing I want to do is below our menu bar layout, I want to add a new area for name text field. Oops, add my caps lock on, name text field. Alright. And inside here, we're going to make a string. And in this string, I'm gonna, actually, what I was going to do is put this up here. That's what I want to put up here. So, after that, we're gonna make a frame layout. And it's gonna have a label. It's gonna say name. And the border style is going to be, you guessed it, etched in. Simple enough. After that, I want a column layout. I'm just going to be making this look nice and neat. That's what we're doing right now. After that, separator, style, none. After that, I'm going to have a row layout. And the number of columns is going to be 3. The column width. Let's see what the shortcut for column width 3 is. CW3. Easy enough. 1, 205, and 10. You can use any numbers you like. I'm using these ones because I've done this before and I know it's going to look good that way. I'm going to have another separator with a height of 15 and a style of a single dash. And that's it. So now I'm going to make our text field with a width of 205, same as our row layout right here, and text of nothing, tf name. Alright. We're going to make a checkbox after that, and it's going to have a label that says group, and that's going to be group 1. Alright. Now we're going to set parent this in the hierarchy so that nothing goes above this. or none of the drop downs go above this. I'm going to set parent this to be resizable in our column hierarchy, or adjustable. Alright, now that that's done, I want to make sure that our button right here, the one that we created before, where is it? Right here. Right here where we attached picture to buttons, we made our symbol button. And I want this to have a command. So I'm going to rename this command -C. I'm going to name this to shape01 for now. And that doesn't have a command attached to it, but we're going to make the global proc for this right now. Where we're going to do it, and after this, before we make the global proc, I want to parent this. I want to make sure this is parented as well. Oops. Set parent in the column hierarchy. So after we parent that, I'm going to need this right here to make sure that our text actually exists, but it's not visible. If we don't put this, it'll give us an error later on saying that our text doesn't exist. Alright, now that that's done, we make our global proc. And where we do it is the space we set up for it before, which is right here in the easy controls commands. And now we're going to make the global proc, and what we named it was shape01, open brace, close brace. We're going to have a string inside here. We're going to attach this to our text field that we named. Actually, even before we do this, let's save our script to simple UI, source it, and give it a launch. Boom. Right here, we have our name and our grouping option. Now they're not linked yet because nothing happens. As you can see, our global proc is empty right now. But as soon as we start writing things in here, we can attach this, make sure it's grouped, and then we're going to add the constraining options. Alright, so let's get started with this. Inside here, I'm going to have a string. Can't forget to name our strings with $signs. That's going to equal body over here, text field. I'm going to query that if name. Alright, oops, can't forget little buddy at the end either. I'm going to make an indentation. So I'm going to make a curve. What I'm going to be making is a box. You can make any shape you want for a curve. If you know how to code a curve, it's much more efficient because you can make any shape you want. I'm going to be making a box with straight code. I'm not going to be drawing it. So I'm going to use a degree of 1, and I'm going to be making my points, and there's going to be a lot of them. So I'll be right back, and I'll have this coded out for you in a jiffy. Okay, so now that that's done, I've made all my points, and once I'm done making all my points, I knot them all from 0 to 16, because a cube needs 16 knots. Now that that's finished, I'm going to rename my curve. And I'm going to name it whatever is inside here, because that's what's in the text field. Plus that's supposed to be it. My mouse is just in the way. Plus control. Done. And I'm going to scale it up. And I'm going to make identity I'm going to make sure it's zeroed out with this make identity. The translation and the rotations are going to be zeroed out, and the scale is going to be set to 1. Even though we change the scale right here, we're changing it back to 1. It's like freezing any transformations you made on it without actually changing it. And we're going to make sure that our pivot in object space is zeroed out to our shape. 0, 0, 0. So now that that's finished, I want to open another brace, and inside here I want to make another string. I'm going to be attaching the group with this string, and that's going to be equal to the checkbox. We're going to query that with the value of group colon semicolon. And for this group, again, I want to make sure that our pivot is centered to the shape that we create. So outside of both of these braces, once that's finished, oh, I missed something. Okay, sorry. After this, I want to add an if statement and make a condition for this group. And if it's equal to true, then this right here happens. Make sure that there's no extra braces here. So this group name is going to be whatever's inside of our text field. It's going to be the same name plus, and I want to say after our name underscore group, close parentheses, and there. Okay, so outside of these braces, even if we don't make the checkbox, we're going to be grouping it anyway. Whether we check it or not, it's going to be grouped. Even if we do check it, that group that we checked is going to be inside of this null group. So this null group is going to be our name plus null. And this null group, we want to make sure the pivot is to the shape. Okay. So, if we save this, it should work. Save it to the simple UI script. Make sure your script is sourced. Aha, we got a syntax error on line 135. I'm gonna fix this and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I see where I went wrong. Inside of the if group statement, right here, I put a parentheses instead of a closed brace. It gave me a syntax error. So now, if I save it, yes, replace. And once more, we source the script. It doesn't give us any errors anymore. So clicking this gives us my cube that I created in code. Zero it out. And it's inside the null group because this was not checked. But even if we do check it, boom. Inside that null group is the group we made, the controller. Delete both of those. Now, I'm going to name it box. Aha, it works. Box null, box group, box control. Right here. Perfect. So now that that's working, I want to be able to constrain that to whatever was last selected. And if it doesn't select anything, I want it to appear like it does at the origin. So it's not very hard to make it constrain. So first thing I want to do is set up in my scene something to constrain it to. So I'm going to hit create, polygon primitives, and drag a sphere. And I'm going to drag it up here. Going back in our script editor, I'm going to scroll up to where we call this. And instead of shape1, I'm going to call B01. And inside B01, we're going to make a new global proc for B01, and inside of that, we're going to call shape01. So after this global proc, make a new one right below it. And call that B01. Open a brace. It should create a closed brace. Okay. So first thing I want is a string. I'm going to name that select1. And that's going to hold a list. And inside that list is going to be whatever we selected last. Even if it's several objects. Whatever we selected last, that's what it's going to hold. Oops. Select one. After that, we're going to want another string for the text. And that's going to equal text field. Oops. Text field. We're going to query the text. And that's what it is. Text 1. Now we're going to need an if statement. And if our text doesn't equal anything, well then we want to do shape 0, 1. This command right here. So if we have nothing selected, we make the shape. Else, we make the shape anyway, even if we do have it selected. But if we do have something selected, oops, well, we're going to constrain to that. And after we constrain it, we're going to delete that constraint and make sure everything's zeroed out. Now, since we made sure everything is zeroed out in shape, we don't necessarily have to do that inside here. Because as you can see, if we scroll up, we make the identity for the translate and rotation 0 and the scale to 1. And that's why we don't need to do it inside here. So parent constraint, whatever is selected first to whatever is selected second. And after that, we delete the constraints. Boom. Okay. Now if my calculations are correct, if we save this, oh, I want to make sure we source our script first, just in case. Alright, when we click this, it appears there. Now let's delete this, select our sphere, click the button again, and boom, there you have it. Bob's your uncle, Bob's your apple, what have you. It is constrained. So now, the group gets constrained, but the controller right here, as you can see, is completely zeroed out. That's the beauty of this. That's why we group it to a null. Because if we didn't have this null group, all these numbers would be on our main control. We don't want that. So now, let's say you move this over here and we have two selected objects. If we click this button, it should appear in the middle. Boom. Ah, because I had this selected last. That's why it gave me an error. And it shouldn't be doing that. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go to Window. We're going to, actually, let's just create one of these, move it, create another one, move it there, select both of these and create a new one, and boom, right there it is in the middle. Now to do this, we can't be selecting this control, because if we select the control itself, it gives us the error. But if we select the null group, it doesn't. It'll appear right in the middle. So this is useful for joints, for adding, for measuring the distance between joints, the perfect middle, things like that. And that's it for today, guys. Please subscribe if you already haven't. Any feedback is useful. These videos are for you. Smash that like button and have yourself a wonderful day. Take care.